24. Not to be confused with Kiefer Sutherland's 24, but 24 pages of story. It's been a little rough because I've been working on getting boxes out of the house and getting bags out of the house and just reorganizing. I may be throwing my old clothes away. I may be throwing those old clothes away. So, Zoo Chispa, what I want to do as far as Gino's story goes, I want to get up to 35 pages and then stop, work on the art. So over here in this bag here is my art. Now I was depressed for a while, like 3 days because I couldn't find my art box. I was like, it takes a while because beyond those walls is a lot of my boxes. So I have to go through all the boxes to find some more stuff. But my most crucial stuff has been found. So that I can kind of just still work on the story. Now, here you'll see some music. These are musical notes that I try to keep I try to keep like a few notes. Try to establish where the A lines, usually you get A, then you go higher, then you go lower. I don't establish the speed. So they could be eighth notes or fourth notes or half notes. I don't really show that because it's hard to do that kind of thing on here. I don't, at least for the sort of the notes, the Samsung notes, you can't put a musical sheet on there. You could put foreign languages, you could put the color of the letters, but you can't change the font, and you can't put musical sheets. I don't know if you could put, I guess you could put a chart or a graph, but that's not what I'm doing right now. And I'm trying to put like what I want on there as far as like images. I wanted to tell the story my way. I didn't want to just have texts. I don't tell my stories typically the way most people do, which is they talk about, if there's action, they go into philosophy and talking about the action. When I go into action, my sentences are very short. He punches, she punches, he punches back, she punches harder. He kicks, she kicks. He grabs something, she grabs something. They go at it again. They clash, 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 clash. Like that's kind of how I do it, and I write it that way. So as though you're in that scene, and if there was a kind of a quote unquote slow motion effect where it's like, okay, he's about to fall to his doom. What is he thinking about in the last few seconds of his life? Then we could kind of do that. But I kind of write it so that it's quick, right? So up to 35 pages. Then I'm going to stop, do the art, right? I'm gonna get the art and then draw Gino's art so where it connects to Rosemary. So the whole thing is like it is Century Ball, right? It's Century Ball in which you're kicking a 100-faced ball, and whatever number the ball lands on, it either scores you certain points. But the player doesn't know. He kicks it into a hole in the sink. That's kind of like it's beveled, like it's all going into a sink. Maybe it's a 10-player soccer game. I don't even know how that's going to work. 10 or 11. It could be many, depending on how many sides you have so if it's like an octagon, of course, UFC has octagons, but if it was 8 players and eight people would kick their ball in the hole or the other player's ball. So I'm trying to connect this art. And Gino's art, the Zoo Chispa is the next one, right? So it's the next set of players. When I did Sonny's Bonds, Rosemarie's group, I had them wear football gear kind of thing because they're playing sports in this art that I've shown before. And then this one is going to be the same thing. Now, I'm not showing you very much of it because I want to save that for when I do present it. But I'm going to do probably about 70 pages each story. So maybe about 700 pages, kind of like what I did with my last book when I published it. I'm going to see if I can try to avoid going that far. But so 35 pages, and then I will go to Gracetron, which is Rye's group, the kid, right? Rye's in this one somewhere. He's right there. He's speaking in Japanese. So his group for 35 pages. Then I'll do about 17 to 18 pages of the next 2 stories. Okay, let's see, 5. Then 9 or 10 pages. Let me think, 8 or 9 pages of 8. Let's see, 6, 7, 8. I'm trying to think right now. Of the next 3 stories, I think. 17 to 18 pages for 3 more stories. Then 8 or 9 pages for 4. and then maybe about 4 pages of the final story, which is Drake's story, which is the mayor of Honolulu, I guess. I don't know. It's very complicated. So once I finish going through, because well, I could go finish one story, finish another story, finish another, but I think it's important for me to kind of multitask the 11 stories at once. So let me show you. Okay, so here we have the table of contents. These are all the stories. Once again, these are all the ones. So what I want to do is multitask between these stories. Once I finish a sample of all these, so I do half the amount that I did for Sunny Spawns here, then I do half of these two in these three, then half of these three in these four, and then about 4 pages of the last one. It's kind of like how I'm going to do it. I'm just trying to build these stories. So mystery is done. Horror is next, right? Science fiction, sports, death recycled. That's kind of monologue and horror. This one might not even be that long because this is very simple. The Cirque, sci-fi documentary. A to Z. This might be short. Quantum Angels. So the idea is to go through all of this and then wrap it up with this is kind of like, and so this is his, like Mayor Akua's The Blue Collar Blues, The Death Knell, Reliving It, The Mysterious Woman, Meeting the Scientist, Rose to Revelation, The Age of Rome, The Last Encounter, and So They Meet Again. So I'm just kind of writing these titles, but I don't know exactly. These are not the final titles of each chapter, but they're kind of what I have in mind. And as I tie these, now remember, this is all parallel as one. They all tie into each other. They all know each other. So at some point they intersect. So when you see this, right, assemble the new circus, that's sort of like, that's what I mean. It's like I'm trying to intersect these stories, but in some ways that limits my creativity, but then it does some of the work for me. So that's what I'm working on right now. I appreciate your patience. I mean, there are some things people do on their own and some other things, but this was so important. And I just wanted to work on this. So we'll see what happens. Another week goes by. My family's supposed to come over on Monday, the 12th. I'm getting tired of this. I don't need to be. I know why, because my sister has not. She's part owner of the fucking house, and it's a lot of bullshit. It's either this or I go homeless, and I know what to do if I have to go homeless. But this is my life. If more people trusted me in my life, if more people gave me a shot, they give some other people shots. Why not me? My life wouldn't be on shaky ground, And all the Captain Creepleys and all the bag of sands and bag of shit and all the shitty trolls that have hounded me, you all don't help either. So unless you're sucking my dick or giving me $100 a day, just shut the fuck up and get off my channel. That's all it is. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep my life on balance. All right. So that's it. More to come.